And we are live. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, WatchYoMouthReviews. This is your boy James, where today I am here to give you my honest review while trying to watch my mouth. It is not going to happen this video, but that's okay. I'm going to live to fight another day. Joining me is my co-host, Mrs. Bess. You say what's up to her.
Good afternoon, everybody. Like the video, share it, and don't be afraid to subscribe.
Yes, please subscribe to Mrs. Best. Any reviews or recaps we don't cover for the reality TV basis on my channel, it's because we cover it on her channel. We have Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, both Love and Hip Hop, Atlanta and Miami. And tonight we're going to do 90 Day Fiance before the 90 days. This is their version of a reunion. I am excited about it, so I cannot wait for that to come on, and I can't wait to give my opinions because I have a lot of them. Trust and believe me, because this cast is crazy over there. But that's not what we're talking about. Dr. Jim Bunny is in the house. Thank you so much for being here, my love. I appreciate you. So, we are going to start off with thank you. Yes, I had a busy weekend, y'all, and I only have one day off from work too. It was crazy. Crazy. So, the episode opens off where it left off between Fumi and Tiffany. They were talking about, this miscommunication that Fumi and Tiffany had. Now, Fumi is coming off that Tiffany was very dismissive of her, and it felt like, when she had made the comment, "Don't be trying to take my best friend," that there was like some, harsh element of Tiffany feeling a way about Fumi. And in the screen, Tiffany was like, "No, I think you have a misunderstanding of it. I did not do anything. I was, there was the first day I met you. I thought you were cool. And, I just wanted to, I was being quirky a little bit in there." And as they're talking, Fumi was like, "Okay, I just wanted to know." And then they kept cutting each other off. Like it wasn't just, Fumi, Tiffany. You were doing it to her as well, but I digress. So as, Fumi cuts her off again. Tiffany's like, "Okay, well, you just cut me off." And she goes, "Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that." She goes, "Oh, okay." And then with an attitude, and Fumi said, "Oh, okay. Well, she goes, "We can try to do better with each other. We can try to get to know each other better and, kind of go from there." And she goes, "Okay, thank you." So they hug it out. And she goes, "And with that, I'm going to leave." And in Tiffany's confessional, she was like, "You weren't really invited anyway." And I said, "Tiffany, you did invite her." And see, this is why I'm gonna have a problem with Tiffany. Because you letting this show and this not nobody knows you yet, ma'am. I don't know why you already acting up in this episode 3, but I'm gonna need you to scale it on down just a little bit. But Fumi walks off, and she leaves, and Amber and Stormy walk off behind her so they can talk to her. They're like, "What happened? What happened?" So she just said that, her something's wrong with her energy. Like, I'm not feeling it. And Stormy, remember your dog was barking at her when walking out. So I feel like dogs have discernment, and mine is matching the dog's discernment. I don't know about Tiffany, y'all. I'm trying to give her the benefit of the doubt, but I don't know about her. And even that wasn't now that I'm looking at the scene in my head, that wasn't Amber, that was Sonetta that was out there. Y'all, Sonetta, Selena's, whatever her name is, that was her out there. So as they're talking, everyone's kind of feeling the way about Tiffany. Everybody's Stormy, Fumi, they all are kind of feeling the way, and it's because she comes off very passive aggressive. I think that that's really what they're trying to say, but they're skating around the mulberry bush because Tiffany is very passive aggressive. She really is. And as Fumi excused herself, Sonetta and Stormy walk back into the establishment where Amber and Tiffany are talking. And she was like, "Why would Fumi do this at my event? Like, why was she here?" And so Stormy's like, "Well, calm down. See, what happened was after you had left Fumi's house, Sonetta said that, maybe you should talk to her." And Sonetta said, "I didn't say that." And I was like, I could have sworn Sonetta said, "Well, maybe at her event you should talk to her." So when they flash back the scene, I guess Amber has said it, but I'm gonna go back and watch episode 2 because I know for sure I thought I heard Sonetta say maybe at her event you should talk to her. I feel like the editing room cut that part out to make it look like Amber said it, but I could have sworn it was Sonetta, y'all. I think like I'm literally looking at the scene in my head. I could have sworn she said it, but Sonetta said I didn't say it. And Storm was like, "Oh, excuse me, did she say that?" And so Amber did take the phone and say, "I said it." And, you know, she was like, well, I think Stormy said, I think that Fumi just really wanted to clear the air. I really don't think she was coming in here with ill intent. Like, I don't think that that was her intention at all. And so the night wraps up with Tiffany said, okay, well, we got to clean up and everything. You know, she goes to Stormy, I'm going to need you to mop. And Stormy's like, no, I'm not mopping. I was picking up drinks. I was throwing away stuff. I'm not mopping. She goes, I need you to mop. I need you to mop, Stormy. You better go ahead and mop, Stormy. Mop, mop, mop. I clean up on aisle 4. I would have told Tiffany, you, this event, and this whole, you know, thirsty ass look like swingers club with y'all popping balloons over there, dropping it up on everybody's Sloan, can kiss my ass. I ain't mopping shit. Because that would piss me off. I'm sorry. I will clean up, I will help, but I draw the line at my finger floor. You need to get you a cleanup crew. You own a cleaning service. Why you ain't had no employees, pay them some money to come up here and clean up after you? See, Tiffany, y'all, Tiffany rubbed me the wrong way already. But Mrs. Best, how did you feel about that scene with Tiffany and her getting into it with everybody?
Oh, my bad, y'all. I am working. Tiffany irritated everybody. Like, first of all, Megamind needs to figure out how to pull her wigs a little more forward to conceal her hairline the way that Quad Webb Lunsford has learned. I don't like Tiffany. She is the exact reason why I don't go to church. Has nothing to do with the Lord. I love the Lord. I love God. But the people in church truly remind you of them scriptures in the Bible that remind us that humans are to sin. Tiffany gives that. Like, I'm glad you pointed that out. First of all, who gets this upset at people's husbands for not showing up to a couples event? Like,
yeah.
James says it all the time. I've known him for many years. I've visited him a couple of times throughout the years. My husband did not come with me because he at that time was in his factory working 12 to 16-hour shifts minimum, 6 days a week at Tesla, and he was in management, so he was there a lot more. But there's a lot of events and stuff that my husband does not attend with me. There's a lot that he will if it's local, but there's a lot that he doesn't. So I just think that's weird as somebody married, especially if you're married and like really hustling and getting your money versus just living off the government or working like jobs that don't pay you enough to live. Like, your husbands are not always going to show up. So I thought it was weird that she threw a fit about everybody's spouse not showing up. Maybe your man is not as busy and need to get some shit to do for himself. I'm just saying, Miss Tiffany, while you throw the fit. Other things I thought were weird was the fact that you're supposed to be the leader of a prayer group and heavy into the church. But like James explained, I've been to couples events and couples date nights and stuff. I have never played any type of game like what they are playing. I felt like that was a little bit weird. The darkest thing we may have done is like playing Cards Against Humanity, the adult version or something. But like, that was weird because they did something, weird. I think, with the balloon or something.
It was the balloon. They were trying, you know, it was like giving the illusion of variety, but you had to pop the balloon in between his lap and your
then the thing with
ass.
The mouth and getting it in the tube while he's holding it.
I was like, what the fuck kind of games are these?
I get it. Married couples have sex. I have sex damn near every day, every week. But we don't need to talk about it. We don't need to act it out. Like, that's cringy. That's cringy. And James will tell y'all, like, he's known me a very long time. I enjoy sex heavily, but I'm not going to be calling and having games and talking to people about the relations that I have in the bedroom. That's weird.
I love sex as well, but I'm not going to show y'all my moves and shit with a balloon on this man's Sloan, and I'm bouncing trying to pop it on his ass, on his thigh. I'm not finna show y'all that. I'm just not finna do that.
My husband honestly would have been irritated and been like, no, you don't need to do that around other people. What the song say? A lady in the streets and a freak in the sheets.
Right.
That's part of it. But I thought that was a little weird because it's like, okay, are we going to walk with the Lord and pray over the covenant of our loves and marriages? Or are we going to be making it pop, putting stuff in the holes? And
what happened to the little board games where you write on the board, you know, how long have y'all known each other? Or what was y'all first restaurant? Exist. Where was those games? Like, why did we have to see the X version of these games?
I'm like, these things still exist. She just chose to take it that way. And I don't know if she did that because it's television and she's trying to like make her mark or what. But I also felt like the venue was weird. There's just a lot about the event I did not like. And I say that to say Tiffany with her slender ass and a big ass forehead. She needs to be cool because you don't run Birmingham. You're really only here because you're friends with the mayor's wife, not because anybody's interested in you or wants you here. And I feel like another reason she may be here is because she seems close with Amber, who is messy and passive aggressive, who
Yeah.
waited for a camera crew to come about to tell Kayla that she had an issue with her when she had plenty of opportunity and space to tell this girl the issue before. So I'm looking at Amber and Tiffany right now like they're messy, but I think Tiffany's worse. But like I said on Instagram, and some people was getting at me, the people heaviest in the church and the most vocal about what they do in them church, them people leading the Bible studies and prayer groups, frying the fried chicken and serving the spaghetti are the messiest. And the ones that's livid on that, like twerking on the fence with the Lord and living their life right. Also, don't ever tell a bitch that's a mogul and the reason that your ass is on TV that she needs to mop. Read the room.
I was like, wow,
Read the room.
when you own a cleaning service, you own a commercial cleaning service, you need to tell me you go ask the guests. No, I would have told Tiffany she
Who
can kiss
asked
my
the
entire
guests?
ass. Like,
Who
no,
asked
you
their
can kiss
guests
my
to
entire
clean
ass. I ain't
up?
cleaning up shit.
Right.
When
I'm
you
not
own,
asking a guest to clean up anything. If you come to my home, like, of course, don't just be tearing my house up, but I'm not asking people to clean up when they were invited to have fun.
yeah,
I
it's
don't
crazy.
understand that.
That was insane. But yeah, but we gonna move on, y'all. We gonna move on to Stormy's meeting up with Mikey, you know, her creative director, and they're talking, you know, about the event and everything. And Stormy felt like, you know, she needs to have someone else join Lala in the whole, you know, selling on the what is that called? Damn, TikTok, the TikTok event. She needs someone to help. So she thinks she should ask Martell because to Stormy, you know, when it comes to caliber for Lala, she feels like Martell is the perfect person that will match her, you know, caliber. I looked at the TV and I said, Stormy. Now, Stormy, I like you. I really do. I really like you. But no, Lala and Martell ain't even in the same room, ain't even in the same building, ain't even on the same street, ain't even on the same block. And hell, if we really being honest, not even in the same damn city. I don't know what the fuck that was
These
supposed to
own
mean.
celebrities, I'm sorry, and this is why I cannot stand Love and Marriage Huntsville. They think they are bigger than the program. They do not realize that they are not even at the level of D-list celebrities.
Right,
We all the way in H's, if that, right in hell.
right.
Because Martell is not nobody, no shade to own or to anybody who enjoys it, but outside of YouTube, the only people I know who enjoy Love and Marriage Huntsville and know who the fuck Martell is are all over the age of 65. That's it, and that's all. They are not as famous as they think.
Yes, and it was like, girl, Stormy, don't ever do that again. Listen, we'll take it on the head that maybe y'all believe the hype in Birmingham and Huntsville, Alabama. Maybe y'all believe that where y'all are, but in you know the likes of California and other states, New York, Miami, Martell ain't nobody. But somebody who is on an own television show that don't have half the viewers of other networks. So let's not do that. The only person I think that would think that Martell is anywhere close to Lala is Carlos. Like, let's not do that. Let's not do that. That was crazy. But she
Let's
invites
not
Mart.
insult our TRL host. Ew.
I mean, Lala got history. History. We didn't know Martell to 2017. We've known Lala since literally we were in elementary school. So let's not do this. Like that shit pissed me off when she said that. Talking about no matter what y'all think, Martell is that man. I'm like, okay. Like if you say so, because to my knowledge, nah. Not compared to Lala, no. That was totally disrespectful. I hope Lala don't watch this episode. Knowing her, she probably won't. But anyways, y'all, but Martell, she asked Martell. Martell think that that's a dope idea. I said, I'm sure you do. I'm sure you need to check too. But you know, she says also I got to talk to you about Tiffany. and what happened. And, I'm going to disinvite her from the event because I don't like her energy. She going to tell me I need to mop the floor. And Mikey was like, I know she did. Like, I know you were dead lie. She said, I was already up in there picking up drinks, throwing away stuff. And he said, somebody need to send me the footage of that. I need to see that. And I said, well, damn, Mikey, Stormy, you don't throw away your shit? Like, you don't pick up stuff? I mean, granted, that house and that estate is huge. I get it. I would have groundskeepers and maids and butlers as well. But, like, come on, Stormy. Like, damn, even your own creative director feel like you don't be doing stuff. But okay, Stormy. But yeah, that shit was funny. So as we're having this conversation, we're going over to Tiffany's house. Amber shows up to Tiffany's house. They have on like a matching jumpsuit ish, whatever that shit was. Tiffany's was yellow and Amber's was orange. But they're talking about, what happened with Fumi and what happened with Stormy and that whole thing. And as they're having a conversation, they get a call from Sonetta's messy ass. And Sonetta said, hey, I just got off the phone with Stormy and she just sent, the invite. And it's only me, you, Fumi, and Kayla that's going. And Amber was like, well, what about Tiffany? And this is when Stormy said, I had to disinvite Tiffany because her energy is off. Like, my discernment is never wrong, and I go off of discernment. Something's wrong with Tiffany. Now, I do agree with Stormy. Something is wrong with Tiffany, y'all. I'm not going to dismiss what Stormy's saying because Tiffany rubbed me wrong the first episode of us seeing her, so I can imagine in real life.
That dog barking was all I needed to see. Animals will never lie to you. That dog ain't made not a damn noise until it saw that lady's forehead. Trust the dog.
That's what I'm saying. We all saying trust the dog, trust the dog, trust the dog. So after Tiffany get the news, she said, well, that's okay. I don't need to come there, but y'all have a good time, and I guess, me and Stormy will have to talk later. So Tiffany is taking it like a champ. She's not really offended, as we've seen people who get disinvited to shit. We see them usually throw tantrums and ask them and want to call the person on camera and everything like that. Asking why Tiffany just said, okay, well, me and her will have a little talk later. That's unfortunate, but you guys have a good time. I said, shout out to Sonetta. I could tell you were supposed to be on the show, Sonetta, because you was just carrying around this mess. So, Mrs. Bess, how did you feel about Tiffany being uninvited? Would you have uninvited her as well? Would you have, or would you have invited her and just had a conversation?
If I don't like you, you can't come. I know that sounds mean, but the older I get, if I don't like someone, even if I don't have a reason to, if you rub me wrong or I don't mesh with you, I'm just not going to invite you. I'm not. So I don't blame her for it. I actually think that was a smarter thing to do, because then if she would have invited her and Tiffany would have done something that irritated her, then people could have viewed it as, well, you knew you didn't like this girl. Why would you invite her? Or people would have said that she was messy or being fake. So I think she made the best choice. And honestly, Tiffany disinvited and discluded Fumi from her event and was so upset that she showed up. So she should not have any feelings or anger about being disinvited herself, because she did the same thing to someone else.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The 90s, yeah, we've known Lala forever. So to say that Martell's on the same caliber, girl, stop. Let's not do that again. Yeah, because that was crazy as hell, that coming out of her mouth. I was like, if you don't cut that out. Hell, even Melody's on Lala's caliber. So we're not even going to do that. Hey, Pacino Rose, thank you for being here. We appreciate you. Hey, JB, thank you for being here. I appreciate you so much. Hi, Layla. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. So we're going to move on to Kayla. So Kayla's at home, and we are now introduced to her 4 children. She said that she became a mom at 18 years old. Directly, her oldest child is 16. She's not with her husband anymore. They are officially divorced, and she's trying to balance, being a mom. She was a very young mom, so a lot of the things that they're going through now, she's went through. Her son recently just got in trouble at school, and he had told the teacher to sit on his meat under his breath, and I said, ooh. And Kayla just said, you did not say that. You did not say that. My mama would have whooped my ass on national TV if I had did that. So these little kids these days, wow. Y'all be saying any old kind of thing about y'all
Didn't she
moms.
say she was young having her kids?
She did. She said she was
It
18.
definitely shows, because I wanted to smack the shit out that little boy. What you mean you told her something about your meat? What are you
Um,
watching? I need to look at your screen time. I need to look at who you hanging out with. I'm in your group chats and I'm knocking your head between these walls, because who are you talking to like that? Kids get away with everything nowadays. If I disrespected a teacher, like even huffed and puffed at a teacher, my mama was there to whoop my ass for it.
okay, like my mama didn't play when it came to disrespecting adults as kids. My mom wasn't like one of those moms that automatically believed me. My mama was one that believed the adult first, assessed the situation, and then determined who was wrong in that moment. My mom was never that person that's automatically believed me. No, not when it came to a teacher. No, she never did.
Shout out to all the teachers out there. I actually have a few friends who graduated college and they are teaching, some in the Bay Area, a lot of them in the South. And these kids is bad as hell. Okay. So shout out to y'all. I
Yeah,
was
because I
afraid of
couldn't do
adults
it.
as a child. I like your mom. I didn't want to disrespect kids. She just laughed at that. I thought that was so strange.
She
Like,
did. She was like, girl, my mom would have knocked the shit out of me right on camera, and I'm telling you, would have went to jail because these days you go to jail now.
especially because that was a boy. If that was a female teacher, man, I remember one time my little sister got her ass whooped at school at Mount Eden in the quad, and they let her. They let her
Mhm.
do it. I think it's because she like cussed out Miss Fanato. Shout out to Naima. She cussed her out real good.
But no, I'm just saying, like, so Kayla's telling us her backstory again. She was working at Hooters. She met her husband, and then they had, dated. But she didn't tell her mom. She didn't tell her mom. So when she got a job at Domino's, her boyfriend was dropping her off at work, and her mom actually happened to pull up beside them, and then got the story then. So when she told them this man is 32, I'm 17, that mama said, "Oh, you fast. So you want to be grown." So when she got home, her mama threw all her shit out and said, "You got to go." So she said, "Okay." Um, she was turning 18, a few days later. So her and her husband, after she turned 18, went and got married, and then she moved in with him because she didn't want to move in before she was married. And I'm looking at Kayla like, girl, you already committed the sweetest sin. You wasn't supposed to be with his grown ass when you was 17. So you might as well just go ahead and just go all the way. But she said she wanted to be married. So they got married very shortly after. And then 11 months later, they had their baby, their first child. So she said that, they just realistically just had grown apart. There's such a big age difference where they then showed up differently, especially when she got her business. She became the breadwinner. So that also caused an issue. So I'm just looking at Kayla like, I need more backstory. I need more backstory. I need to see your mama on this camera. I hope she comes on later on the season so I can assess what I'm really looking at. I need to see if you have a father. If you don't have a father, this would explain so much. The fact that you thought you were safe with a 32-year-old man at 17 years old and then turn around to have married the man shortly after y'all had been together. I think she was keeping this relationship from her mama for a whole year before she actually got caught with it. So it's like, this is a crazy story. But this is not okay. No part of this story was okay. I actually felt bad for her because she looks like she blends in the mindset of her children versus the mindset of the mama, and that worries me, especially because they look like they're great kids. Well, with the exception of the young boy that told she should get off his meat, that gonna turn into a problem. I can already see that. But it just looks like the kids are in extracurricular activities. The only thing I will say about this scene is that I hope they don't watch this and look at Kayla differently. And then also, Kayla, I'm gonna need you to not to cook. You don't need to have three separate meals. We need one collective dinner. I don't know. I get people make breakfast for dinner. I'm not gonna, judge y'all too harshly, but that's not a meal. Pasta is not a meal. Baked ribs is not a meal. I need one collective meal with some vegetables, a meat, and a starch. Please and thank you. Mrs. Best, how did you feel about Kayla's scene?
She did let them have a free for all with the food.
Yeah.
Oh, you know, Kayla Kayla is the example of why it's important to get out there and live life before you go into living life, if you get what I'm trying to
Yes.
say. It definitely shows that she has a younger mindset. And I'm not taking away from any of the success that she's had with her business, but business and life experience are two different things. You could tell she's very well versed in one and not the other. Her kids all look healthy. I actually enjoyed, you could tell she's close to her kids, so I did enjoy seeing the relationship she has with them. I just want her to discipline them a little bit more. But other than that, I didn't really mind the scene. I just saw a girl that I have a lot of questions for her parents.
I do too.
Because I'm like, okay, at 17 years old, she was dating a 32-year-old. And then she's talking about when she was younger than 17, she's always dated men that were older and not just a couple years older. Like, I always dated older guys as well. But like, I married my husband in high school. He was 18 when I met him. But it's just a 2-year age difference. That's not too bad.
Yeah.
This is bad.
This is bad. Like, first
this
off,
is like predatory. So I have questions for her parents because it sounds like she was pregnant as a teen by a 32-year-old man. I'm like, what more proof? But I think the age to consent in that state is like 16 or something.
It's 16. It's like New Jersey. It's like 16.
Yeah.
I believe so too.
I don't know. It just bothers me. So I more so, when I see Kayla, I more so judge and have questions for her parents and her baby daddy. Because, sir, 32, I'm 33, right? That's just a year off of 32. And I can't imagine being attracted to anybody under 26 or 7, let alone under the age of like 21. You can't drink. You can't rent a car. You can't.
It just seemed like it was a control factor, Kirk and Rashida. Like, it just seems like I'm able to
see that she's a victim.
Yeah, and that's another thing that's sad. It's like it's giving Kirk and Rashida. It's given I can groom her into making her what I want, which is, this housewife where I can bear my children because I'm getting there up in age. So I need to make sure I have my children. And it's giving that. It's really giving that.
I do think it bothers her though.
It does.
Like if I go, I do work in psychology, y'all. I feel like it bothers her. People don't talk about stuff this much unless it's something that they're slightly embarrassed about sometimes. And I kind of feel like she's trying to, like, her success in her business is helping her to feel better about the fact that this old ass man kind of took away her younger years that she should have been exploring, figuring out herself. Maybe she could have married somebody else who was her age. Maybe she wouldn't have. Like, well, I feel like she's cognizant of stuff, but also tries to like deflect and ignore the fact that she did something that she knows is frowned upon. And now that she's a mom, she probably would not want her 17-year-old, because she expressed that in the scene, to be with somebody so much older. So I don't know. I don't like her gums still, but I'm rooting for Kayla. I'm rooting for her.
I'm rooting for her too. But the thing about it is, I agree with you to a certain extent. I don't know if it bothers her because she's still doing it.
People still do stuff that bothers them, especially if that's all you know. 17 to now, her whole adult life, she was having babies by an old ass man.
I feel like if you have that much cognizant awareness of it, like she's not saying it was, she never said it was ever wrong. Like, if you listen to her conversation, it may bother her, but she never said it was ever wrong. So that's why I
don't want to admit that, because that would be embarrassing. A lot of people, it's common. That's really common for a lot of people. They're not going to admit they're wrong and will make something that they know is foul and vile seem like they're okay with it, or that it was an outlier compared to other situations. Like, I think she very well knows. I don't know. I view it differently, probably because of the field I work in, but I feel like she's successful. She's good, but I do feel like she's in the process of healing and hurting at the same time. And that could be from her divorce. It could be from the type of relationship it was in. We won't know, because I don't think that Kayla's ever going to like let people fully in. She gives me somebody who always have like a slight wall up.
Which is fine, because but at the end of the day, something has to make sense of this, Kayla. Like, we trying to roll with you, but things have to make sense for us to be able to roll with you, to be able to be like, okay, I can see the appeal. Because the man, I saw a picture of me, wasn't all that cute. So I can't really think of anything else, maybe the conversation was good, or maybe she was easily influenced at the time. I don't know, but I just feel like, to me, because she's still dating older men that are significantly older than her, I just feel like, to me, I just think that there's more daddy issues here, and there's more of like she has, like, I don't know, like maybe there's something dark that
It's
happened in her childhood.
definitely
Yeah, it's
daddy
something.
issues.
Yeah,
Definitely daddy issues. 9 times out of 10, when girls date somebody older like that, there is something that's happened traumatic. It's not always sexual trauma. There's other forms of trauma, but she definitely has some type of something because it's just not normal to be like, I remember being 17, 32 years old. That when I was 17 seemed like 70. Like,
yes. Same.
but
It did. Like, you had some girls, like I remember I had went to Logan, and there was one girl, she really had a crush on this teacher, and he was like in his mid-30s, and she was just like gasping over him. I mean, like, I was like, wow, like, and I'm looking at this man, I'm looking at her, and I'm like, okay, yeah, that ain't right. Now, if it was a 20-year-old teacher, I would understand that. But the 30, no, that was like, that was ancient to us. That was like, no, you can't do that. That was older than our parents, even though it wasn't older than our parents. But it's like, we just didn't do that. So, yeah, there was definitely something wrong here. I'm going to read the comments because I know Mrs. Best has to leave out of here in just a second. I would have uninvited her too, but also would have told her personally so she wouldn't be surprised or had anything slick to say. I think she still would have something slick to say if Stormy did that. Yes, these kids are allowed to do way too much. I'm telling you, I couldn't do it. My mom was one of those moms that did not play with me. Like, my brother may have gotten off scot free, and my sister may have gotten off. Well, not my sister, because my sister did some wild ass shit too. But like, no, I could never. Like, there's no room for me to mess up like that. Yeah, that's a crazy ass age difference. That is. I don't want to say she's slow, y'all. I really don't want to say that. I don't want to say she's slow. I just think that Kayla is just a product of her environment because she was able to make the big bucks with her career that we can't really get a good grasp of being successful in Alabama, but she's still making the money. Everybody need a commercial. Everybody need a kid for something. So she definitely getting the big bucks. So I can't commend her for that because that's a smart thing and it's still paying the bills. And speaking of real time with her children, that's yes, y'all. I'm telling you, that's gonna be a problem right there. I see that's gonna be Lance Jr. right there. Um, yes, it bothers it. I can see it bothering her, but as I said, I don't think she feels guilty about it. I think there's no inner guilt with that. I think that she just doesn't know how to kind of move on from that situation. I think that that's one thing, and I think that when she looks back in hindsight, now that she has a daughter that's about to be the same age, I think there's a level of fear of that repeating. I think that that's really what it is. I don't think it's more so that she's ashamed of it. I think that she's hoping that maybe what she experienced does not happen to her own children. That's what I think. But when I was 17, there ain't no way in hell. I didn't date men at that time, but there's no way in hell I would. No, no way. We're gonna move it along, y'all. So Stormy's at her warehouse. She is doing a preemptive, couple of Instagram posts, lives, and some TikTok things to show the actual not the prototype. This is the actual product that Lala will be having, where they'll be doing their TikTok live for 48 hours. And she is wanting to get the creator of the box and everybody online. And when she tries to get them to talk to them about it, she said that the computer froze, they all froze, and she goes, "We need to go to the warehouse." So they were trying to find a spot where the Wi-Fi would connect, so they can have a clear image of these people, so they can talk to them. But it didn't work. And Stormy admitted that she is not tech savvy whatsoever. That is me. Hi, my name is James Jackson. I am not, in any way, shape, or form, a tech person. I want to. I've taken many courses for it. It just is not connecting. So I have said, you know what? When the time comes, I will hire somebody to do all my tech stuff because it's just not in me. It's just not in me. But Stormy says that she's hoping everything goes through, and she asked the creator of the box set, how many can we get? And he said, okay, well, we got 4,500. And she goes, well, is that on hand or is it going to be shipped? And he said it's going to be shipped. And Stormy's like, okay, I don't have time. So she's going to enlist her husband, since he's a trucker, to go up to Chicago and pick them up and bring them back down, since they have enough time to do that. I say, you better use your resources, Stormy. You better use them resources. I'm telling you, it's great to be resourceful in life.
this really is what we should be seeing on Love and Marriage, Huntsville.
Yes.
Because that's what usually happens. Lord.
Yeah.
And don't give up on the tech, James. Not everybody tech savvy.
Child, I'm trying not to, but listen. When it comes to a spreadsheet, I got you. When it comes to accounting, I got you.
You got
When it
James got a man that's tech savvy, so he good there. And
yes,
and my husband, he got somebody else who's getting a tech degree, so he'll be all right.
yes. My
Yeah,
man does my new one does tech. So my new old one, I should say, he does tech. So I'm good because he going, especially when we start living together. Yes, he's gonna take care of all of this watch your mouth review stuff. So
mhm.
it's definitely gonna look a whole lot different because how I look now to him, he just being quiet and just smiling. But when I get there, I know he's gonna be like, okay, time to change some shit around because this is why you're not monetized. That's
That's the
exactly
only
what he.
reason I make any changes to my channel. It all be also best in the background. And when you were staying out there with him that last time, he was very helpful
Yes,
for
he
you
was.
with the tech.
He was very helpful. He was very
I
helpful
used to be
because I'm
asking James
telling you.
questions. He'd be like, "Girl, I don't fucking know. This man done did something." Soft life,
Oh,
okay?
Jesus, look,
Soft life.
y'all. I'm trying to tell you, yes. But we gonna move on, like, y'all along, y'all. So we got Amber's house. And, Amber lives with her niece, and they're getting ready because it's about to be, I think, at this moment, 2 days before Stormy's TikTok event, where they're going to be locked down for 48 hours. So she's saying, "What should I wear?" and everything. And her niece, her name is Kaylin, I believe. Kaylin is too much shit that's too close together. But she was saying, "Yeah, I have some ideas with the products, and the baby is over there on on the stairs, lifting her leg up, wiping her ass, and over there, doing the burlesque shit." And I was like, "What is we doing?" I mean, I thought this was a fragrance and you know uh, TikTok event. This turned into the boomerang commercials. Like, what are we doing here, baby? Why is we doing all this? And Amber is saying in the scene how there is such a difference between her generation and then the what is that, Gen X, Gen Z, whatever this shit is called. There's such a huge difference. She feels like they're spoiled, they're rotten, they're brats, all of this. And I'm just like, you know, I'm with Amber on this one. I feel like the younger generations, they do expect hand me downs because our parents. I was just talking to one of my family members about this. It's because they want to give them the life that they never had. But what we have to do is we're short sighting children when we do this. We're short sighting them to think that just because they don't have to work for it, doesn't mean they're going to get it. Because what's going to happen is, yeah, they're going to work hard for it, but they just may not make it. That's the life lesson. There's a lot of things that we're going to work for in life that we're never going to obtain, no matter how much work we put into it. That does not mean we hand them the silver dollar just for making it an inch before the finish line. You get what I'm saying? So I felt like I understood Amber in that. I feel like the kids these days think they just have to try and they still get the silver dollar. And it's like, no. Sometimes you try and you don't make it. There's nothing wrong with that. Either you try again or pick another race to run. That's how you're supposed to do this. But they don't think like that. And I think that that's where we're short sighting these children. That's why they act like Kayla's son, who will tell a teacher, "Get off my meat," just because of coughing, whatever that circumstance was. There's no reason for you to say that just because somebody called you out. What you do is you apologize and say it will not happen again. We need to teach our children that.
Kayla, you could send the boy to me.
Yeah, we need to send that.
Just
So
send him to me. I'm surprised that a child raised in the South would even think to. I'm baffled, but okay.
I was baffled by it, but I was just kind of like, Amber's point was so pertinent that the one thing that I learned was that should have been a conversation you needed to have with Kayla about her children. And I'm hoping there's a day where that comes because that's what it is. That's exactly what it is. These kids are entitled to say and do whatever they want because we want them to be free. We want them to do that. But we have to understand something. Life is not structured in that way. So when we want them to do these different things, they come with the stigma that if they don't do it, then they can throw tantrums and they can be dangerous, then they can do all these crazy things that life does not warrant it. So when Amber is sitting there having that conversation with her niece about all of these things where the niece is over there twirling her ass on the stairs and shit. It's like, yes, granted, I get it. Sex sells. I absolutely understand. This is a beauty fragrance line. I totally get it. So we're gonna boomerang this. But even boomerang had class until they put it in the wrong cans. You get what I'm saying? So yes, I was 100% there. But she tells the kid, say, yeah, you need to up your outfits a little bit because you be dressing like a boy. We need you to dress. And I'm like, damn. I have to look at Amber. We only know Amber for 3 episodes. I'm gonna have to watch Amber's style. I don't think Amber dresses masculine at all. I think she has a good balance. So I don't know what Denise was
I
talking about.
mean, Amber was a basketball player. She's a taller woman. I don't think she dresses masculine, but I feel like with taller women, somebody's always trying to throw shade at them. Leave them alone.
I agree. So yeah, we're gonna move on along. But thank you, Amber, for the scene. It wasn't nothing, but you had some great valid points that I wanted to highlight. That's the only thing I'm gonna give from that. So the ladies, which is Fumi, Kayla, and Sonetta, they're on their way to Huntsville to Stormy's pop-up TikTok event. And while they're getting there, they're saying, we're the other ladies, and they said that Tiffany was not invited. And of course, Amber's already there. So they're riding around, getting to know each other, trying to learn to understand. So Sonetta said, I'm just gonna call Tiffany. I'm gonna be a good friend, and I'm just gonna call her and let her know what we're doing. So she calls Tiffany. And, she says, hey, so we're on our way to the event. And Tiffany said, oh my God, I'm so excited for y'all. Have a good time. Make sure y'all take some pictures so I can see. And she says, but I got to go because me and my husband, we just going to do a day trip. We finna go to Atlanta. So we finna do a day trip. And they said, oh my God, have fun. And so when Sonetta gets off the phone, Fumi was like, oh, well, I will say, you're a really good friend, making sure that she felt somewhat included. And I was like, no, Sonetta is being messy.
Sonetta ain't a friend to nobody because Sonetta been saying stuff about everybody and everything on the low, on the side. If you're a friend to somebody, like if I'm at an event that somebody disinvited James to, I don't know who's in here that Shana was in here. We collab with her. Let's say James or Shana has an event and she invites me but disinvites James. And I'm like, okay, well, I ain't got no problem with her, so I'm gonna still go. I'm not gonna call James and be like, yeah, what are you doing? I'm just at the event right now. The one that you're not at. Like, what? You don't do that. That's not being a friend. Just leave it alone.
Yeah, I was in a text message saying, hey, I hope you're doing well. Have a good time. Safe travels. I may do that, but I'm like, I'm not gonna be like, girl, look, we go to Stormy and we said you're not here,
and put it on speakerphone. Yeah, girl. Sonetta is messy, and she just don't know how to be no other way, and I love it.
I do too. I love because it makes the show.
Tiffany's cousin.
Is she Tiffany's cousin?
It might be Tiffany's cousin, the way she's acting. Her messiness is like Tiffany on Love and Marriage Huntsville when she was on
there. Yes. Oh, that Tiffany. Okay,
yes. That's why she I'm like, are related?
Because Tiffany, I mean, every time somebody was getting into it or Sonetta was right there. So I'm like, oh yeah, Sonetta messy. I love it though. Sonetta, I'm here for it. I know you're not on the show as a cast member fully, but I'm here for you. I really am. Like, y'all shout out to Sonetta. She keeping that mess going. I see you, Sonetta. I do. I see you. But as Stormy is setting up for her event. She wants to make sure everything is taken care of. And the event is beautiful. I will say I'm not a fan of pink like that. Like, I'm really not. But I love the atmosphere, the ambiance, and the materials. Like, I love it. Whoever that lady is, I wonder if she could do my 40th birthday. I'm gonna save up the money. Lady, don't be too expensive. But because I want to do a white party for my 40th. And I would love that type of aesthetic. Like, I really would. But as they're riding around, the ladies are riding around on the way to the event, and Kayla is giving Fumi and Sonetta her background because they don't really know her that well. They're getting to know her, and she's telling them a story about she was 17 when she met her husband, and and then she said in her defense she did lie to her husband and said that she was 18, and I'm like, okay,
that doesn't help.
That doesn't help. It doesn't help because at the end of the day, that man is still 32 and still, in some respect, can be old enough to be your father. So it's like, that did not help his case. That did not help your case either. It's still Weird. So she said that she told them she has 4 kids. Her oldest is 16. And, they questioned her about the man that she has now. She says, oh, yeah, he's a little bit older and everything. And Sonetta said, I ain't never seen him before. He live in Birmingham. And she goes, no, actually, he lives in Dallas. She goes, oh, yeah, because I know everybody. So I ain't never seen that man before. And I said, Sonetta, let me find out you really is the Monietta of Birmingham. Why do you know everybody? But that's neither here nor there.
People who
And
know everybody don't announce it.
mm-hmm.
I've learned this.
So, but as they're talking, she was saying that, when she met Jason, the guy that she's dating now, it, felt right. It felt like it was a God thing, that God brought them together because it didn't feel, weird because she met him at a conference. And, you know, I, 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 I don't know. I don't know, just because I feel like, to me, you're making the same decision a second time by being with someone much older. But I guess this the circumstance is different. They're both successful. They're both entrepreneurs. So maybe, it may work differently this time. But I just feel like, for me, I was like Fumi and Sonetta. I'm looking at her like, this gives daddy issues. This gives that you are not healed. This gives that you are just searching for something, like, to fill a void. This is giving Ashley Darby. It just really is. And the moment that she reveals where her father is, or who her father is, or what her father is, I will say differently. But for right now, this is giving very much Ashley Darby without marrying for money. It's giving the issues and the internalization of Ashley Darby, like, as far as like wanting somebody older. But Ashley Darby is the reason why I say it's not all of Ashley Darby, because Ashley Darby was looking for a paycheck and getting out the slums and making sure she don't end up like her own mama, who ended up living in a tent with a man under a bridge. That's what this is giving. This is giving that, I want to make sure that I always feel loved and get that, also that little girl in me gets the love from a man that I never got. That's what this is giving. So I was with them when it came to that. But that was pretty much the scene of her explaining herself. I'm hoping that the ladies, even though the situation and circumstances are crazy, I hope they don't judge her harshly for this, because everybody has a story. Like, regardless if we agree with it or not, everybody has a story, and this could be something that she is dealing with internally. So I don't want to judge her too harshly, and I hope the ladies don't either. But I need her to give more backstory. That's all. Mrs. Best, how do you feel about Kayla explaining to the ladies her life and her husband, and then now dating this new guy? How did you feel about that?
I think any adult with common sense would know not to judge Kayla. Just, you made a choice to be with somebody when you were still a child. I don't think that's fair to judge them on it. She you Again, this is why I think it bothers her, because she talks about it whenever she can. I personally don't judge people for choices that they made under the age of 25. I believe we were all a little stupid under 25. So
Oh, yeah, for
I'm
sure.
hoping that she gets whatever she needs to get out about her story that's bothering her out. And I hope going forward, either the rest of this season or season 2, that we start to learn more about her outside of that relationship, or since she's coming on television newly divorced, we can watch her get to know her new self. But Kayla, that's all I'm gonna give you. Stop talking about it.
Yeah. So we're at
Office.
so we're at Stormy's event. Lala shows up and she is so impressed with everything. She's smiling. I miss Lala on reality TV. I really do. But she is smiling. She's happy. She says it's beautiful and everything. So, Stormy's like, okay, well, we're gonna begin. So we have like 2 minutes before this is about to begin. So Stormy does a quick live to tell everybody to come on TikTok and everything. And she says, make sure you guys put the correct price on there. So the box regularly is $300, but Stormy is doing the TikTok event and charging it for $175. And she said the first 100 people that come in, she's also going to give them $50 worth of merchandise for Canvas Beauty, which I feel like is highly generous for you to do, Stormy. So as Stormy is setting up the event. Lala is, talking about her scent as well. And Stormy realizes as she's looking at the catalog that's set there for prices you can buy, that it's actually the wrong product. So people are saying it in the comments that it doesn't look like this is the correct product. But most people are like, oh, I'm excited to get my box. But what Stormy realizes is that even with that pricing and everything, that's not the correct one. So people are buying one thing and not getting what they're actually here for the TikTok event thing to, actually purchase. So it's a lot going on. So the live still must go on. They're starting to have tech issues. The sound is gone. No one can hear them. And so Stormy is now freaking out. She has the pricing of the wrong product. She has the sound going in and out. It's muffled, it's startled. It is going absolutely crazy. So I'm hoping it goes well. We don't know what happens yet, but I'm hoping that this live go well. I was not there in real time. I watched the first one. I didn't watch the second one. So I don't know what happened with this event, but I just know that it was like a whole lot going on. So Mrs. Best, I have to ask you, what was your response looking at all this and all this mayhem happening?
I'm sorry, I was on a call looking at what?
Stormy's event and all the mishaps that were happening, the wrong price for the items, and then also or the wrong production product for the items that she put on TikTok, and also her sound.
It's unfortunate. Stormy is a small, independent, Black-owned business person, so like this happens, especially when you involve technology. Anything can go wrong. I work for a company that is, I basically work from home doing social work. That is something that's newer here in California. So technology does sometimes cause things to go wrong, I'm sure, in any industry. I appreciate seeing the issues with it because I did actually watch this live when it happened and had no clue she was filming for Belle Collective. And it really wasn't as bad as they were making it seem online. Stuff is fixable. I think it just shows how involved Stormy is with the company, which I can really appreciate. But live streaming is good, I think, for any business, content creator, entrepreneur, whatever you call it, because you do get that real-time feedback to know that things are going wrong. If there was nobody in the live stream and let's say she just launched the product and there were issues, she wouldn't have known until people got the wrong thing delivered. So there is kind of a silver lining in live anything. But I like how they're showing, I feel like we're seeing so much more of Stormy as a businesswoman on this show than when she was on Love and Marriage. They get too wrapped up in the drama over there. But I appreciated seeing like the business stuff. I mean, I done learned new terms.
Me too.
Like all sorts of things. I appreciated the scene with Stormy. I wouldn't buy the box, but
I don't know if I would. I don't think it's for me, but yeah, we are definitely happy to hear that. The last thing I'm gonna talk about, because that was pretty much it. How do you feel about Tiffany being Ricky Smiley's niece? Was that a shock to you?
No. No, it didn't shock me. Just Birmingham is a 2-hour drive from Atlanta. So I'm sure that she's connected to a bunch of people. I feel like a lot of the people in Birmingham on this show who are relevant because they're connected to somebody more famous. But I feel like Tiffany, I'm surprised she waited so long to tell us. She gives me someone who would have been bursting at the seams to tell us, but doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Doesn't surprise me either. But that was pretty much it, y'all. That was Belle Collective Birmingham. It was a good episode. I think we're definitely learning a lot more about the ladies. I feel like, to me, I don't know, Carlos, I don't know why you didn't add Sonetta to the show, but you need Sonetta. And I think you need one more lady to make it a fuller cast, because I feel like we need more. We need more.
They definitely could have added 1 or 2 more women to the group. And Sonetta should have been one of them because she's messy, but she's likable.
Yeah, she's likable, absolutely. Ricky is from the Ham and used to play keys for church. Oh, okay. Okay, shout out to Ricky Smiley. I did not know that. I don't know much about him. I just know he was on, that messy gossip show with Portia. That's all I know about him. I don't really... And he's been in movies from time to time. I'll give him that. Friday After the Next. I got it, y'all. I got it. But, yes. But that's pretty much it. That was the episode. We thank you. Now we're gonna move on to Love and Marriage Huntsville. That's not gonna be a long live because not much happened, but we're gonna talk about it anyway. And then later today, about 3 o'clock Pacific time, we'll be on my live for Real Housewives of Atlanta, and also Mrs. Best for 90 Day Fiance Before the 90 Days. You guys definitely do not want to miss out on this.
I'm sitting in a Teams meeting board.
Okay, but I will see you guys on my next live. Y'all have a good one. Bye bye.
All right. So, how's your weight?